Well, we have nobody back for the players from the players who did not play against Crystal Palace, and all the players who were at Crystal Palace should be available for Monday night.
It's Liverpool on Monday night. They're a team that have been quite active in the transfer window. What have you made of their start in the Premier League?
Had a good start because I believe that at Stoke they scored very late. A draw would have maybe reflected better the game, and you have seen their last game on Monday night. What happened there?
Just finally from me, what are your standout memories of last season's game against Liverpool at the Emirates?
At the Emirates we had a very convincing performance, and everything clicked on the night. We played with a good pace and were very efficient offensively, so it was a good game.
I know you talked about Alexis Sanchez after the game last weekend, but does he continue to surprise you that he's contributing what he is? By your own admission, he's not yet fit completely, and when will he be 100% match fit?
I think on Monday night he will not be short. He will not be far from 100%. It's surprising because when he has not the basic fitness, he has the mental resources to dig deep and to be combative and fight. So, and as well he has the talent.
Do you feel you're starting to get the complete benefit of Mesut Ozil's experience in the Premier League now? Do you sense there is an upward progression?
I feel so. I feel that Mesut is now completely committed to the club. Maybe in the first year he didn't know really, came from Real Madrid here. For how long will it work for him or not, will he enjoy it or not? I believe now he's completely on board, committed and focused on the results of the club.
I know you're not always a great one for statistics, but Arsenal haven't lost their first 2 home league games in your lifetime, so history is very much on your side on Monday.
Of course, you know that if you want to have a successful season at home, you want to be strong. We missed our first game, and we had to look at ourselves, and I believe we responded very well at Crystal Palace. Now it's go on with that and come back to our usual strengths we have at home.
Jack Wilshere, you were telling us before that everything seems to be going well with his recovery, that in fact it's perhaps quicker than you initially thought. Does he have any chance, if not this weekend, of being available at all before England comes around?
No. I would believe that is a bit too optimistic a version to think that he would be available for England. It's too early.
So realistically we're looking at
after the international break, yes, he has a chance, but before the international break he has no chance.
Okay. La Liga starts this weekend. I just wondered, not necessarily asking you for players to watch because that might reveal some of your transfer targets, but what do you look forward to about La Liga? What makes it special for you?
Honestly, to watch Barcelona and Real Madrid, because they're over-dominating the league, and it shows a little bit the trend that it could be if the money is not well shared amongst the clubs, because I read at the start of the season that last year Barcelona got 150 million euros, and the last club in the league got 4 or 5, you know, so that means unbalances the league too much. In England the money is well shared, even if some clubs have more resources, but of course there are 2 dominant teams now in Spain.
Still in the transfer window, of course, so I have to ask this question each time. Are you any nearer to maybe signing someone? Do you expect to make a signing between now and when the window shuts? And do you
we expect like you, but at the moment we are not close.
And do you pay any attention
to any transfer activity?
Saying that Arsenal are perhaps the club that should sign someone more than anyone?
Look, I listen to everybody, and but my job is to make decisions, to select and make decisions. And even if I look everywhere, and listen to everybody. At the end of the day, I have to make the decisions. If I just listen to people's opinion, many players who have signed here, starting with Vieira, Nelka, Henry, would never have signed here. You know, at the end of the day, I have to make the decisions.
And just one last one from me. The new offside law, I know we asked you about it before and you did talk about it, but we saw a classic example perhaps on Monday night.
It was very classic, yes.
Does the interpretation of it, the changes that there are, mean you might have to switch tactics at all, or does it change your thinking?
No, honestly no. I believe that the rule is quite clear. If a guy who is in an offside position takes action, he is considered to be offside, and that was, in fact, we have been explained the case with a similar example to what happened on Monday night. So it is quite it was quite surprising. But there again, I come back to what I think it should be the next step on with the use of the video. Goal scored, regular or not. Go upstairs, ask your opinion, and this is a clear case where without wasting time you could make the right decision. I can understand that the linesman cannot see it, but you have to check the regularity of the goals because it's too important.
Morning, Arsene. We had Chelsea City last weekend. Yourselves obviously play Liverpool on Monday. It's not often we see these big games so early on in the season. Is that good or bad for you as a manager to have the big tests so soon?
Look, I believe you would want these games later in the season, and but in England you have so many big teams now that it's maybe more difficult to organize. When I was in Monaco in Italy, they had a rule that in the first 7 games the top 4 could not meet before the first 7 games, and I don't know if that rule still exists, but certainly it was linked with that anyway in the first game you sell out because it's new, and that the big teams play. It was more down to financial resources than to sport resources, but the fixtures are like they are. You have to adapt and to win your games.
Supporters of several London clubs have united in the last few days to call for a public inquiry into the soon-to-be West Ham Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, because of what is a very heavily subsidised deal for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered what your thoughts are on that, and as a rival manager, do you feel it's maybe an unfair advantage, the subsidy they've had?
Look, it's very difficult for me to speak out on that because I don't know well the case. I think any decision like that should be explained to people, of course, because it's a public interest, and the case should be clearly explained to what happened. But I don't know, did West Ham get an advantage or not? It's good, in my opinion, that the Olympic Stadium is utilized after for some need, and for a club after has West Ham been advantaged or not, I don't know.
Because obviously the Emirates cost a lot of money, didn't it? And it
yeah, but we have the advantage as well to own the stadium. You know, West Ham will not have that advantage.
And one final one from me. Joel Campbell, can you bring us up to date on his future at Arsenal, please?
Look, at the moment he's here, and I would like to keep him, and I will have to sit down with Joel because I rate him highly as a player, and personally, if he stays here, I'm very happy.
Hi, Arsene. I'm just going back to Nick's point and the transfer market. How difficult for you as a manager is it the fact that the window's open during the season, or is it a good thing, as Nick was saying, because you can watch other teams in action and see players perhaps transfer targets? Where do you stand on the?
I stand on the fact that when the championship starts, the transfer window should be finished. As simple as that, because it's too easy to say we play 3-4 games and see what we miss, and after we correct it quickly with a lot of money. I think it's too big an advantage for clubs who didn't work well during the transfer window.
How difficult is it though, in all your years? Is it the most difficult transfer window right now?
It is difficult because everybody wants you. There's more money in football, more clubs with big resources, and less players available. So I would say the funds are there more than the players who could strengthen your squad, and that is a big problem, because people know that you have the resources, and they want you to buy players from clubs who do not need your resources and are not necessarily wanting to sell.
Just going back to that 4-1, how much confidence can you draw from that result going into this game?
From?
The meeting with Liverpool last season, the 4-1 victory.
Well, it's a different team. I think what was very important, your confidence is linked with your last result, you know, and at Crystal Palace we responded well. You could see we were a bit edgy at times, but we responded in a very strong way, and from that we should have enough confidence to go in a positive way against Liverpool.
Just finally from me, Per Mertesacker said that he feels that the fans deserve a good home performance. Would you echo that?
That fans
deserve...
of course, I believe that fans deserve a good home performance and away performance, and we are here for that. Our job is to make people who love this club happy, and when you don't do it, of course you feel guilty.
Arsene, you're talking about player availability. Rightly or wrongly, you've been linked with a striker all summer. Man United have been linked with a striker, Tottenham as well. Is there a shortage of sort of top-class number 9s, do you think, at the moment, just in the game generally?
There's a shortage in the world, yes. But it confirms what I just said, is that there's a shortage, there's a difference between financial power nowadays and the availability of top-class players.
You always say it's not like a supermarket where you can go in and pick what you
No.
want. Do fans have to maybe lower their expectations a little bit about what is realistic in the market?
Look, it is simple. It is like for any deal. You want to buy something, you go to see the owner. If he doesn't want to sell, you cannot buy. And in our job, it is exactly like that. When the players are not free, you cannot buy them, and because it's a club who decides, who owns the contract, who decides, and that's what is happening. And in Europe, you know, today you have maybe 15 clubs who have huge financial resources and don't need money at all.
Has it been a frustrating window for you for that reason?
No, for me no, because I'm always more focused on developing the team and the players we have, and getting everybody on board inside the club, and develop players as well, than always thinking to buy. I'm not against buying when it is really a plus for your team. If it's just to buy a player at the level of the players you have to make people happy, I'm not ready for that. If it's somebody who brings something you don't have in the squad, of course you want to do it.
What do you make of the Pedro deal? Chelsea seems to come from nowhere. So
It was a surprise to me, because I thought it was landing at Manchester, finally landed in London, and because the story came out for such a long time that he goes to Manchester, and suddenly in 24 hours, but you have seen that before, you know, on the transfer market. Certainly, I don't know what happened exactly.
I know you've got a lot of players in that position, but were you offered him at all?
No, because we have many players on the flanks, many players.
I mean, that experience with United, whether they pulled out or they didn't get the deal done, does it just sort of show generally how hard it is to get a deal over the line?
It is hard, believe me, to get a deal over the line, and but it's difficult as well if you're not completely inside the deal to know exactly what happens, you know. And after, did the player not want to go? Did Man United not really want to spend more or not? I don't know.
Arsene, so is it then the case that all the players who have moved to Spurs, Chelsea, Man City, Manchester United this summer, you don't think any of them would improve the Arsenal squad?
I don't know that. I cannot deny that. But what you want is, for any player, is their need to buy in this position. or is this player making you squad stronger, and you have to say yes or no. And I think we have in every position strong players.
So when you see the other teams strengthening, does that by reflection then make Arsenal weaker if all your rivals are stronger?
Yes, but you know, I was asked this question 2 years ago when some clubs buy 10 players. How do you feel? You have no chance now, and what you want is to focus on your own strengths and make sure that you develop your team, and the cohesion, the style of play that everybody knows are important qualities. We live in a society that is hungry for news, you know, and news is good. I can understand that, but it has to you have to absolutely be convinced that it strengthens your team.
Do you feel then that the club is doing everything possible to get that extra type of quality player? So if a deal doesn't come off, you can say, well, we did everything we could to get the person.
Of course. What is our target every day, every morning, from morning to night? We try to be as good as we can in every single department of our club.
Hi Arsene, I know it's early days, but how important is Monday's game, bearing in mind some of the other big teams have started so well?
Look, not all the other big teams started so well. Some of them started well, but for us it's an important game because we know a successful season is linked with our home strengths, and normally we are strong at home, and this is an opportunity to show it.
The 4-1 win last season has already been mentioned, but how much of a different prospect will when new signings are Liverpool this season?
I don't know. It's early in the season, you know. After 2 games, I don't know how strong Liverpool will be. I just think we can be very strong, and we want to show it in our next game.
James Milner's already described you as looking sharp so far this season. Would you agree with that so far, based on the last 2 games?
Who?
James Milner.
Yeah, I think he's a good signing for Liverpool because he's a team player. He's a talented player as well, and he can play in different positions. And I'm sure he will. He's as well a very motivated player.
He's described Arsenal as looking sharp. Would you say that was correct?
We looked sharp at Crystal Palace, yes, but we didn't look sharp against West Ham, and hopefully we have made that step now.
Again, it is a bit too early to say, but do you think Monday's game could be a good indicator of whether you are genuine title contenders this season?
Look, it's for us a very important game where the result will, of course, be vital, but it's not definite. It's not a result really that will decide that, but for us, in our head, we know it's a very important game for us.